Donald Trump Jr. is once again conspicuous with claims that are not backed by facts. Even the US Department of Defense is responding. Joe Biden is currently at the center of sharp criticism. Since the hasty withdrawal of the US armed forces from Afghanistan, the Republicans in particular have been holding the US president accountable. At the forefront of the movement of the critics are above all those who stick with the former President Donald Trump, ignoring the fact that Trump himself announced that he would immediately withdraw all armed forces from the country in the Hindu Kush in the event of re-election. The Republicans do not take good care of Biden's decision to give up all presence in Afghanistan less than a year after he was sworn in. Most recently, it was mainly Donald Trump Jr., the patriarch's eldest son, who ripped off Joe Biden. For example, he wrote in an email in which he once asked again for donations for his father that Biden had shamefully left American soldiers and citizens in Afghanistan. He called it an absolute shame. What he did not mention in the same breath: currently there is no evidence that US citizens are actually staying in Afghanistan against their will. On the contrary, the Department of Defense recently announced that not a single American was waiting to be evacuated from Afghanistan. Even more, John Kirby, spokesman for the ministry, felt compelled to set the facts right following further allegations by the younger Trump. The US military did not even leave dogs behind, Kirby stressed on Twitter, explaining that photos spread on the internet showed animals in the care of the small animal rescue in Kabul and not dogs of the US armed forces. Donald Trump Jr., corrected in this way, did not attract attention for the first time with questionable allegations about the end of the US mission in Afghanistan. For example, he spread a rumor that the Taliban had hanged people from a helicopter in Kandahar. This message also quickly turned out to be false. CNN fact-checker Daniel Dale then pointed out that Trump Jr. wasn't even afraid to add a stylized helicopter with a hanged person to his Twitter cover photo. Since the end of the former President Donald Trump on Twitter, it is above all his son who stirs up the remaining supporters against anything that can be assigned to the Democrats or the liberal part of US society. Most recently, he blasphemed about radical communist teachers, accused the government of Joseph Biden of lying in connection with human trafficking, and announced via a video by Joe Biden that democracy in the USA under the Democrats would die in the dark. Even in his claims, nothing stands up to regular fact checks. Donald Trump Jr. has never once corrected one of his false claims or even apologized. Most recently, a member of his own party had even reported him, preceded by slander against the younger Trump. Various US media nevertheless assume that he could pursue higher political offices up to the US presidency in the future. He already has more than 7 million followers on Twitter. And it's as unbelievable as the fellowship of Boris Johnson, I must say. But people never seem to learn, I guess. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.